Hi everybody, I'm Phil Fatika. Welcome once again to the Millcreek Government Channel, Channel 9. And today we want you to do something for me and for these lovely people joining me. Let me introduce you. On your left is John Petula, and John Petula is the CEO of the Harborcreek Youth Service. I think you all know where that is, and just in case they don't know where it's located, John, it is at?
5712 Iroquois Avenue,
okay,
Harborcreek.
it's in Harborcreek. And the rose between us, two thorns in the middle, is Muriel Alexander. She is going to tell you about something that is just spectacular, that you've always wanted to put your arms around something and really feel needed and wanted. She has the thing just for you. Muriel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Nice. Okay, so I've teased them enough. What are you doing today? You are recruiting people to become
foster parents for Harborcreek Youth Services, and it's for a specialized program for our children who have a mental health diagnosis. The children would be in their home for 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
It's a very intensive program.
So I'm going to volunteer. Me and my wife are going to volunteer. Obviously, I have to have some very specialized qualifications in order to do this, because I'm going to be dealing with, as again you said, what kind of students are these?
Children who have mental health diagnosis.
Mental health diagnosis. Okay, so what do I have to do? What do I have to have going for me in order to even pick up the phone and call you?
The biggest is a desire to help a child, a genuine commitment to our program, because we're going to expect a lot from you. We do Act 33 and 34 clearances, which are child abuse and criminal history.
Okay, which means, let's start at the beginning. Do I have to be a certain age?
Over 21.
Okay, well, I barely qualify, so thank you for that. How about my health? How about if I find it difficult to get up and down stairs, or I need assistance in my own home? Would that be not necessarily a thing going well in my favor?
We basically leave it up to the family, and if they have health issues, then we do ask them to, all of our families, to have their physician give them a physical and sign a paper saying that they are capable of becoming a foster parent.
Okay. John, we didn't leave you out of this. We'll come back in just a minute.
Sure.
So just relax for a second.
I'm fine.
The next one is an obvious one. Obviously, you have to enjoy children, but when you use the word children, what are the age? What's the bracket of the ages?
We're placing children 4 or 5 years old to 18. To
18, okay. And the last one, you have to have a telephone, I would assume?
You have to have a phone.
You can have a cell phone. Okay, got to be able to get in touch with you.
Right.
So I meet all those requirements. I'm going to apply, you're going to apply. Now what happens? I fill out the forms, I come to you, and you look at me and say, so far so good, Phil. Here's where the next procedure step takes us. What happens?
I would meet with you in your home, gather background information, fill out the forms for the clearances and the FBI check.
And that could take how long?
That takes, our first interview is about 2 hours. And then I would go back to my office and compile all that information, send for 4 non-related references that you have given me, people who are going to say good things about you, and send for your clearances. I've already left you homework to do, which is safety requirements in your home that need to be in compliance with DPW regulations.
DPW?
Department of Public Welfare, to make sure your home is safe for a child. I'd finish all that paperwork, and then I set up another appointment with you in about a week.
Okay.
So there's about 3 appointments.
So there's a lot of crossing of T's, dotting of I's. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. This is a very fine screening, tuning process, because again, they're looking for specialized foster parents. And again, I'll come to you in a minute, John. Muriel, you're going to be dealing with what kind of children?
Children who have some behavior problems, children who are on medication, children that could be challenging. But if you want to really do a commitment to a program, what better than to do it with the child? Because you're making a lifetime difference in that child's life.
And again, I'll be with you in a minute. You're not signing on to take the child on as a part of an adoption.
No, definitely not.
Okay.
It's for a short period of time, 6 to 9 months, and we will be working very closely with the biological family. They're part of this treatment program.
Okay. John, let's get to you now. Everybody, I think, is pretty much aware of the Harborcreek Youth Services. How did that come about? What was the driving force that said, we're getting a 0 in this column here, and we have to make that a plus?
Well, initially, actually the agency's, we just celebrated 100 years. And our primary service for most of those years has been just residential service.
Okay.
Currently we have 6 units.
When you say residential services, you're talking about
24/7.
female, male, female.
Just male boys.
Just male boys. And how do they get there? How do they arrive at your doorstep?
Most of these young men also have mental health diagnoses and are referred by the managed care company. Juvenile probation is involved many times. Children and youth, the mental health agencies throughout the Commonwealth are involved.
Are they primarily boys from Erie County, or they can be from anywhere?
We have many from Erie County, but we also have several other counties, particularly in the diocese area.
Okay. The reason I asked that is, going back to you, Muriel, is your foster specialized parents would be dealing with only children from where again?
Erie County.
From Erie County.
Right.
Okay. So unlike the larger program that John sees, the boys could come from a tri-county area easily, you know. Yours is going to be here, Erie County. And I think the key component of that is the biological parent or parents have to be able to visit easily?
Not only visit, they're going to be involved with the child's therapy.
Okay.
They'll be involved with the foster family. The foster family and the birth parent will be working together.
Okay.
And we're hoping that what works for the foster family, the skills that we will be giving them, the biological parent also will be learning those skills because they'll be trained together. When the child goes back home, they'll be able to stay there and the parents will be able to work with that child more effectively.
All right. John, again, let's go back to the larger picture. You're a host home treatment program. Who or how do they leave? How are they no longer with you?
Well, the program would be, as Muriel said, about 6 to 9 months in duration. And
even yours, even the larger, not the specialized foster, but your charges.
Residential treatment.
Residential treatment.
Also runs around about, I think our average length of stay is about 9 months.
Okay.
And from the very beginning, we are working on a plan for them to go home or to their next location.
Okay.
So we're working, with individual therapy, group therapy, school, recreational therapy, those kind of things.
So everybody comes together as a board and says, I think that Phil is progressing nicely and maybe 2 more months or so and he's ready to move on to, and is there a next level beyond yours? For example, let me say, do they ever run away from the home because they're not locked in?
We're not locked in. We don't have very many runaways because we have staff. There's always staff supervising them. They're not left alone. So the staff situation, the staff security situation, supervision really prevents runaways. Okay.
So the next step for Phil, after doing a really good job with you people there at the Harborcreek Youth Services, where would I go then?
Well, many of the youth go home.
Okay.
We also have another program which we call multi-systemic therapy, which is an in-home family therapy, which is a little more support for that family when their child returns home for fairly intensive counseling 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay. Now here comes the personal questions. How'd you get involved with this? Your heart has to beat specially to do these kinds of things. Now you told me off camera that you worked with whom?
I worked with Erie County Office of Children and Youth for 16 years. I was their foster parent recruiter. And I am committed to the program because I'm also an adoptive parent, and I was a foster parent for about 28 years.
Wow. I know people who are foster parents, and they're cut out of a different cloth. I mean, and I say that as the highest compliment in the world. John, how did you get involved? Did you always want to be socially attached?
Most of my career, I was with the county government, as you know, County Human Services, several years, and then a very short time with state government, and then 2003, I came to Harborcreek Youth Services. Okay. And I enjoyed the direct contact with the clients, the boys.
I like to ask this question of all groups that come before us representing that segment of a population. Again, using the table, I love to use the tabletop. Are you seeing about the same number of youth come through your program as you have in the past? Is the table getting smaller, less numbers, or is it getting bigger? We can't handle the load anymore. We need to diversify and take care of these very special needs. It's a multiple choice question. Go for 10 minutes.
Children, there's a large number of children who have mental health issues. makes it very difficult for them to stay home sometimes because the parents don't have the skills to work with them. Therefore, we're committed to helping the parents learn those skills so the children can be returned to the family and stay there and not have to go into foster care or a residential treatment center.
This is my spin-off question from that, from the table thing here. Is this because we are better able to identify them? Is it because there's more reporting of this going on? Has it lost the stigma? You know, we're going to stick Billy in the back shed and, you know, we'll feed him every 2 weeks and don't tell everybody about him. That's a wide open question. Please go ahead.
I feel it's all of those.
Yes.
You know, we have much greater choices in services. Erie County has a lot of choices with services for adults and children with mental health issues.
Okay. John, you're nodding your head and hopping anywhere here.
Well, yeah, I think in terms of the residential, you asked about the pie or the table. The table in Harbor, since I've come there, we're serving about half the number that we used to be able to serve, or we used to have capacity to serve because there was just too much capacity for the need. So we serve around 65 young men at any time.
At any one given time?
Right. And that used to be, we used to have a capacity of 130. So we really we've scaled back, and it's appropriate. I mean, it's what we need in this county and this state. So, but I think we also converted to mental health in 2005 because I saw that when I first came to Harborcreek, 65 to 70% of our youth were seeing a psychiatrist. So I figured they're not getting that level of treatment, and that's probably the best thing for them to have.
Okay, okay. Again, this is John Petula, and John is the Chief Executive Officer of the Harborcreek Youth Services. It's on Iroquois Avenue. It's been there 100 years. Well, I don't know if it's exactly in that location 100 years, but it's been around for 100 years. And sitting next to me is Muriel Alexander. She is the recruiter for the specialized foster parents, and that's why we're coming to you today to ask you to consider what she has to offer you as a social setting. Let me ask a question that some people, this gets a lot of argument, that we tend to medicate too quickly, that we diagnose, and if you just take this Ritalin, you'll be terrific. Where does that go on the scale today? Or, you know, I mean, that's made national magazine covers and arguments and discussions and.
There are other ways that you can work with a child and have specific skills to help them to deal with their problems and their issues and their anger, instead of always just medication. It needs to be a combination of things. And with many of these children, they do need medication, but they also need other skills in working with them. And we're not asking people that are highly educated to call us. Families who just have a genuine concern for children, who want to help, who want to make a difference. Okay. And we will do the training to give them the skills that they need to work with these children.
All right. So I want to join. I meet all the qualifications. I've passed the vetting process from you, the state police, everybody. I'm not a pedophile. I haven't been arrested for. I'm good to go. And you mentioned the training. What are you going to tell me that I should know to do? Where do we start? Where's A? Or zero?
Zero.
Got a couple hours.
We have a wonderful training program designed for these families. And we also know regular foster parents receive training, but our training is going to be geared towards the mental health aspect. Right. And there are certain other requirements, like they have to have first aid, CPR, which we will be doing, but fire safety and sanctuary training and
sanctuary treatment.
That's more like the trauma-informed care approach. That's really most of these children have experienced some form of trauma. And
trauma in the form of mental and physical, both.
Well, some have been abused and neglected. Some have had emotional abuse. Some have lost parents, have lost siblings, have lost other family members, and so they've experienced a lot of family trauma in their lives. And we've developed different ways to handle that. That's more effective in terms of dealing with those young men. Okay,
that was good. Keep going about what you're saying there, because I'm writing them down about all the necessary things that you need to do. What happens, and let me pose a question that is the dark side of that. I'm sorry, Muriel. The guy we have, I'm sorry, he has killed the dog without meaning to, but he killed it. He's broken furniture. He has attempted to run away. He has slapped. It's not working out. What's wrong with me?
There's nothing wrong with you. We have our program designed that we're going to give a lot of support to our foster families. We have like a case manager that will be in the home every week. We have therapists that will be in the home working with the child. We have a psychiatrist that will be working with the child. And we will be providing 24 hours support to our foster home before they get to that level.
Okay. Because of the home setting, then how is the educational component handled? I mean, for those old enough to go to school, how do they handle that? Who teaches them?
They will be going to the school in the foster parents area.
District. So they're at a level where going to school would be a good thing.
Right.
Yeah, I love going to school. I get to socialize with my friends. I get to do things. You know, it's not the punishment that some students think it is. You know, I don't want to go to school today. It's too nice outside. So there's all these good things going on. How then do you track what happens after they're released from this very successful program? Do you track them and find out how they're doing 2 years down the road, 3 years, 5 years? Is there a process for that?
Well, I think we have designed through our proposal to do some tracking of these. We have first we're going to do an assessment when the child first comes in of them and their family, and we'll actually track their progress during placement. But then we will do follow-up studies to see how effective our treatment has been.
And see how effective it has been, and fine-tuning it as you're going along.
Right, and our, as Muriel said, we have a very good community system, and there will be other services in place for that child.
And these are primarily students, young men from Erie County, who will be here in Erie County with foster parents from Erie County whose parent or parents are in Erie County, so they can get to them on a very easy basis and report and go forward. That's just a wonderful. And then you said, does this happen everywhere, or is this unique and new to us?
This does not happen everywhere. It is a great need that needs to be available in other cities and towns, but we have worked very hard to develop this program, develop policies and procedures, develop the training. We are required that for our families to have 24 hours initial training, and then they will receive ongoing training after that. So we feel that with all the training the families get, the host families, the support services that they will receive, and some extra things that we're going to provide for them to show them that we really appreciate what they're doing, will help make this a really unique and good program. Very much needed program.
Very much, yeah. Is there a number that you're looking for, how many people, or you're going, hey, bring them on, because if Phil goes away, we have John to take his place, you know, sort of like just waiting in line to help.
Anybody that meets the requirements, who has the desires, who has good clearances, the doctor's statement can provide a warm, caring home that's committed to the child, committed to the program, we welcome them. And we would not turn anyone away. We would, evaluate everyone, because people come and they go. And we want to have resources that we can fall back on. And we know that there's a lot of children out there who need these homes. We just need to get the homes.
I love that idea. I think it's wonderful. Let's pursue that one step further. Actually, the child was in the right and the parents were completely in the wrong. They just simply didn't have a clue how to parent. They are the ones that caused all of these problems. How do you approach that?
By working with them, by being good listeners to them, and trying not to judge them, but give them the skills that they need to work with their own child and help them see what the child needs.
What happens, the child learns faster than the parents, and you say, Phil's ready to go back to John and his wife, but I can't vote for him to do that. They're not ready to take him back. They don't know his needs yet. They're not in tune to him. They're actually the ones who are causing the problems here. They really don't even want him anymore. And kind of it's a blessing that he's out of the house and let somebody else take care of them for a change. Can it come to a point of a separation?
It could.
Who would do that? The courts?
The children that we're taking aren't necessarily involved with the court system at this point, but if there is abuse and neglect involved, then the child would most likely go into foster care, regular foster care.
Okay. Right. A lower level.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up. Regular foster care is completely different from this. This is very specialized, intensive. What is regular foster care, John? Say that not only the specialized foster care, why we're here today, but let's talk about, do you need foster parents, period? And do you same qualifications again? You have to, you must.
It's the same sort of qualifications. The Office of Children and Youth has a very good foster care program, and that's but that handles the majority of the foster children.
And is it like a temporary stay for some of those children?
It's also it's preferable to be a limited number of months, days, weeks.
Now, where the rubber meets the road, this is not cheap to do. Where does the funding come from? Where does the money come to support something like this?
Community Care Behavioral Health is the managed care company for Erie County, and this is where the funding is coming for this program.
So the people who would be involved in are they paid? Are they compensated financially?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the specialized ones as well as just the regular ones.
Right.
Okay. I don't imagine you're going to get rich doing this. In fact, what you make will probably go out in food and entertainment and all the things that you would normally do with a child.
But it would help them to be able to take an additional person into their home and shelter them and provide activities and clothing and meet the needs of that child's maintenance.
Good. This is the person you want to talk to, Muriel Alexander. Her phone number is up on the screen. If you think you qualify, she will get you the necessary paperwork. The ball will be rolling. If you feel that perhaps you have an interest in general foster parenting, then John would be the gentleman you'd want to talk to. His number is up on the phone, on the screen too, the CEO for Harborcreek Youth Services. John, you mentioned earlier that there was a religious component to your beginning and still is?
Yes, well, we're an affiliate of the Catholic Diocese of Erie. Okay. And the Sisters of St. Joseph actually have been active, and actually they were working at Harborcreek for several years. Okay. And they continue to be very supportive, but they were actually house parents and very dedicated to the mission.
Out of my own curiosity, is Gannondale the female component of what you do, or no?
Gannondale is a little bit different, and they're also, I think it's a different, I think they're associated with a different, I think the Sisters of Mercy. Right,
yeah, okay. And I know that the young ladies at Gannondale have been adjudicated from the courts, I believe.
Right, they mostly have been adjudicated.
And
yes,
they go to school. Going to school is a wonderful thing. Staying home is not a wonderful thing. They want to go to school, so it's a kind of a learned behavior. If you do these things, you get to go to school. Again, we have a couple of minutes left, and I want to make the pitch for Muriel Alexander, and she's looking for specialized foster parents. Muriel, got about 2 minutes to wind this up. You have to have what to do what for whom? You have to have a lot of heart, commitment, and desire to become a foster parent, and a genuine desire to help these children. All right. Again, these are males? No, they're females too. Oh, they are? Oh, excuse me. It's male and female. Yes. But yours is just male. Yes. Ours is older, or 10 to 18-year-olds, and this is children of all ages. Children of all ages, okay. Right. And they could be with you for how long? 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months. Got to make almost a year commitment then. Got to have all your ducks in a row. Got to make sure that you are the right person for that particular job. And again, the person to call is Muriel, and I wish you the best of luck in doing this. Thank you very much. Come back and let us know in a little longer how it worked out for you. Would you do that? Yes, we will. Okay, sure. Good. And John, thank you for your good services. Okay, thank you. And the good work you do. Pleasure meeting you. Thanks for coming and sharing that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having us. And by the way, if this meets your needs, if you're one of these people that always said, I want to be a specialized foster parent, again, this is the woman to talk to. The phone number is on the screen. I wish you luck in doing that. We need more of you kind of people out there to help these good people. Thanks for being with us. I'm Phil Fatika. Until next time, take care.